Hey, welcome back. I'm glad you stopped by today because today we are talking about body image and how it's affected by the way we think about ourselves. Body image is something that you have to work really hard at. I mentioned in my last video that body image is never consistent. It's never stagnant. It's always going up and down because depending on your mood and depending on the way you interact in the world, your body image can change. And to have a positive body image all of the time, it's pretty much impossible because you could just see a bad photo of yourself and realize that, oh my God, my double chin is way bigger than I thought it was. So here's the deal. You wake up in the morning, you stretch, you feel good in your body. You get up, you make a cup of coffee, you're feeling thin. You go and you do your makeup and your hair and you're feeling really beautiful and flawless. And you have the day off of work, so you're gonna go do some shopping. So you go for a little walk and you're walking around looking at all the different stores and you just happen to turn, and while you're walking past one of the storefronts you see a reflection of yourself in the window, or you see a bad photo of yourself and you look at that picture and you see all the things that you pick at yourself for. You see the double chin, or you see the flabby arms, or you see the extra chub that you have around your middle section. It's in that very moment that that voice inside of your head kicks in and starts repeating all these terrible negative things to yourself. For some reason, this voice inside your head, it's been telling you these things for as long as you can remember, because it's so ingrained in who we are that we think it is us. So that voice inside of our head forms when we're very young. It's made up of many different people who have been an impact on our lives. It could be a parent, it could be a grandparent, it could be a friend, it could be a bully who was in school. It could be made up of a lot of different things. But the voice is very condescending and it sounds very critical and it says the meanest things to you, things that you would never say to anyone else and things that you would never accept from anyone else. But yet we accept them because we believe that that voice is ourselves. I follow this Facebook group called Humans of New York, and it's this photographer that goes around New York taking photos of different people, and it's really beautiful. It's a really interesting way to connect to a lot of different people around the world and a lot of different opinions. Well, this one is really interesting. She says, I used to be 300 pounds. I thought that when I lost all the weight, a light switch would just suddenly flip on and I'd be driven and inspired. But the self-judgment just shifted. Sometimes when I'm jogging, I'll see another woman who is fitter than me and I'll think, no matter how much I run, I'll never look like that. It's that same voice in my head as before. The only difference now is I'm better at telling it to shut the fuck up. So I love that so much. That voice inside my head comes out usually when I'm regretting something that I just ate. It usually sounds a little something like this. I can't believe you just ate that. Why in the world did you eat an entire bag of chips? They weren't even the healthy chips. They weren't veggie chips. They weren't sweet potato chips. They were regular potato chips, and they were loaded with fat and loaded with carbs, and now you're never gonna fit in that wedding dress. I can't believe you ate a whole pizza. How could you eat a whole pizza? Do you realize your stomach is like the size of your fist? Food is just nourishment. Why would you overfeed your body? You're just gonna make yourself sick. And as this voice is going on and on, I think, okay, maybe I'll just take a shower and in the shower, I'll forget all about eating the whole pizza. I get in the shower and I'm feeling really bloated and really sick, and that voice starts up again. I can't believe you did that. When I was young and I was getting ready to start my school year again, I believe this was pretty much every year for as long as I can remember. I would have all of my brand new clothes spread out on the bed, and I would be trying on the different clothes, trying to see which was the best outfit to wear for the brand new school year. The start of the year was the first day back to school, and this outfit was the most important of them all. So I would try all of them on, and I would feel so beautiful and brand new, in all these brand new clothes. And looking in the mirror, I was never satisfied with the way that I looked. One of the things I always had a really big problem with was my double chin. So I would sit in front of the mirror in my brand new clothes and I would pick myself apart, be in that really condescending voice in my head. And I'd be like, oh, look at this double chin. I'd grab it, I'd squeeze it. I'd say, oh, I hate that part of myself. And I would just move all the way down my body, picking my whole self apart. A couple years ago, I had a birthday party out at Ocean Beach. It was a bonfire at nighttime, and I remember feeling so beautiful. I remember going and being cold, and so I was nice and snuggly in this warm jacket. And it was a little bit damp because we were on the beach, and then we had this beautiful lighting by the bonfire, and I had this huge group of friends, and everyone was so happy. We were drinking and celebrating my birthday, and I remember feeling so lucky that I had this huge group of friends around me. And we had people taking pictures, and it wasn't until later, the next day, when I went on Facebook and I saw I was tagged in all of these photos, and I looked hideous. The image in my head did not match up with the image I have for myself. What I learned in therapy is that voice inside your head is not your friend. Janine Roth talks a lot about that as well. She mentions that when that voice in your head starts to make you feel really crappy, when that voice inside your head starts beating yourself up about something you did in the past, or about the way you look, or about the weight you've put on, just tell it to go away. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. Just tell it to go fuck off. Just tell it to go away, because it's not your friend. That voice is a defense mechanism to keep you the way you are, to keep you unhappy, to keep you in the state that you're in. And eventually, what I had to learn was every time I looked in the mirror, I would go, oh, I hate my double chin. And I would block it out. I'd say, enough with that. Go away. I'm going to find something that I love about myself. And I would just kind of start to look at my face, and I'd say, oh, I really like my eyes, or I really like my lips, or I really like my hair. And I would start really slowly by picking out one thing. And then eventually, after a few months of doing that, still hearing the negative voice, but every time I hear that negative voice, say something nice about myself. I would say, every time I looked in the mirror, I am beautiful. And at first, I didn't believe it. It took me probably about 3 months in order to actually look in the mirror and say, I look beautiful today. Like, genuinely, I look beautiful. Still today, I'm not going to say that I don't have that voice inside my head. I still struggle with it. And even now, I'm sure I'm watching this footage and I'm saying, oh my God, I wish my chin would go away. It's just something that is ingrained in us. It's a part of who we are. My big question to you is, what if you just stopped listening to that voice? What if you decided that you were beautiful? What if you decided today that you were worthy of all the same things that someone who is 50 pounds thinner than you has? What if we decided that we are enough just as we are? Today, not tomorrow, not if you lost 50 pounds, not if you had a different hair color, not if your face was thinner, not if you could fit better into those skinny jeans. What if you were enough just right now? These are some very interesting questions to ask yourself and some very interesting things to ponder. My assignment for you this week is every day when you look in the mirror and you start to hear that negative, critical voice, shut it down. Look at yourself in the eyes and say, I am beautiful just the way I am. And at first it's going to sound like a joke. You're not going to believe yourself. You're going to be like, oh, please, I can't believe I have to do this. But to be totally honest, at the end of your week, I think you'll find a big improvement in your overall body image. You'll see yourself in a different light. You'll start to improve that over time. And if you're one of the lucky ones that have a positive body image already, just be so thankful that you didn't have to work so hard at it, because a lot of us really struggle with it. If you're one of the ones that struggles with it, I promise you it will get better. the kind of thing that you have to work out like a muscle. It's like working that part of your heart and working that part of your brain that you never really had to before, because you were always listening to that really critical, mean voice. But if you stop listening to that voice and start taking control about the way you feel about yourself, I promise it will change your life. All right, I hope you're having a good day. I will see you very soon for my next video. Mwah.